Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahabhiryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May He protect us both. May we both enjoy together. May we both exert together. May our studies become brilliant. May we not become disputatious and hate each other. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Hari Om everybody to our classes. It's very easy to live a very simple life. The only problem is we have this tendency to complicate things. It's an overworking mind which runs around and around and around and looks as if the whole world is one complex pattern. And we are invited into this world, or literally thrown into this world of chaos. When we buy a TV, any TV for that matter, we always have what we call a manual with it. When we buy a mobile phone or any electrical equipment, it comes with a manual. There are some people who operate every equipment without even referring to the manual, because the utility of their life of that equipment is only switch on and switch off. A little bit of basics is enough for them. But people who want to use the equipment better for what it is made, they go through the manual and they study. And that study takes a little bit of time. Vis-a-vis compared to the person who doesn't study the manual. They have started operating the equipment already. Here, before starting the equipment, you are studying it. And then you exactly know how optimum you can use that particular equipment. Similarly, our Shastras, our Upanishads, our Ramayana, our Mahabharata, the great gurus who are teaching them, these are the manuals that are there, already given. Not many people know how to live a life properly. And there are so-called wizened up people, elders, teachers, who are worldly wise or street smart, should I say. And they start teaching all the so-called practical aspects of life, of how shortcuts can be won, how being corrupt is good, how not to have a purified and clean heart is beneficial in the society, how the wrong and the corrupt always win and the righteous lose. These are the so-called street smart people who brainwash that child to be a grown-up person who follows only the wrong dictates of the society. This is where our acharyas and gurus and the beautiful scriptures have come to educate how to live life in a very simple way, which can be understood even by a child. So even in some of the children's class what we are taking, there are children who are asking beautiful questions. They are understanding what scriptures are to be put in a simple way. So what we gather from our experiences in life, the teachers I am talking, is they understand that philosophy of life, or to study and understand scriptures, it's not difficult. In fact, it's very easy. But until the teachers complicate it and show that you need to have a particular mental strata to understand it, they have to put themselves at a higher pedestal, where they create a gap between the student and the teacher, where someday it always happens, the student says, it's easy for you, sir, because you are at that level. But we are, common folks. And this gap, the teacher, so-called arbitrary teacher, a teacher who is included into the society, revels that attitude of one-manship over the normal people. Rarely you will find a teacher who comes to the level of each one, even a 6-year-old child, to explain to the child and to explain an ignorant person who doesn't understand scriptures properly or not understood the Sanskrit shlokas, of how easy it is to live life. So whatever we have done till now, the karmas, the 3 karmas, Sancita, Prarabdha, Agami, we are doing that. Sancita is that which is there in the bulk of our vasanas. Prarabdha is from that bulk, this embodiment, the person whom you are seeing now, sitting before you. Agami is whatever activities I have done, the results of it, good or bad, will come someday. So all these 3 karmas, again I am repeating this, these 3 karmas are given to explain how a realized person or a person immersed in Brahman functions in the world. For us who don't want to reach that high, we don't understand about Brahman and Agami and this, focus is very simple. It's the great masters who have taught this. Simple, great many sages have understood this. What I see in the world, when the world is there and the relationships is there around, I need to act. Each and every action of mine comes from a desire within me to perform a particular action. Agreed? So this action of communicating comes from a desire within me to communicate. Let more people be knowledgeable about simple things in life. So 90% of the time the agitation and stress will disappear. That's all. It comes from this desire to help. This desire has come from a particular thought that I think I should do this. Across the area, there are so many people who have no idea what Vedanta Shastra is. And the teachers are trying to teach, but the differences are too much. Either it is Panditai on one side, only Sanskrit shlokas and showing the mastery of languages, or the other side, there is no talking and only singing bhajans and bhakti marga, talking about this is what the Lord Rama did, Lord Krishna did, Hanuman did, only that much. So people who can think and analyze what it is to live a particular life is disappeared, majority of them. So we are trying to communicate. So it comes from that thought saying, let us try to spread this knowledge in its simplest form, break down into simple patterns. So even if the Shastras or Sanskrit shlokas are written in a dynamic, very extraordinary languages, which is written in the Smritis, which is written in the books, if it can be broken down step by step to the common people whose only focus in life is, please tell me how to be happy. too much chaos going around in my life. There is a relationship problem, there is a children problem, there is a marriage problem, there is an economic problem, there is a disease problem. In all this chaos, is it really possible to maintain a dignified silence, a calm in the mind? Yes, it is there. So all we have to do is find out what are our desires and then eradicate. Keep it simple. The last three desires, what we are talking, Sancita, Prarabdha and Agami, this is given for a particular reason, to make everybody understand that a self-realized person also has the desire. He understands what? There is a bulk of desires, Sanchita. And from that huge, how much desires are there? How much vasanas are there? I don't have any idea. Lakhs and lakhs and lakhs. Imagine trees and trees and trees filled with leaves and filled with small leaves. Millions of leaves. That much Janma has been there. All that bulk. It's a theory. You have to understand that. You'll come to know when we do the next verse. So all that bulk is Sanchita. From that bulk, this embodiment needed immediate fructification, and that is Prarabdha. Through Prarabdha, it can only exhaust vasanas or desires through experience only. But in this Prarabdha itself, I have this unique capacity, or we have this unique capacity to tamper with the Sanchita, the whole thing. How to do that? We'll do that. So Prarabdha, I think so, we finished last time. We are going into verse 35, freedom from binding actions. By the firm self-knowledge that I am Brahman alone, Sanchit karma is destroyed. Okay. How much vasanas are there? Millions and billions of vasanas. How can it be destroyed? By understanding I am Brahman alone. I am Brahman. That's what, sir. I think we should sit all in meditation, close our eyes and say, I am Brahman. I am Brahma Atma. I am Atma Brahma. I am that great Brahman. I am that great Brahman. Nothing can be achieved with this. Don't misunderstand the statement by merely parroting of ideas that I am Brahman, I am Brahman. No. Start. At present, I am extroverted. What is the meaning of extroverted? I am looking at the world, and every time I feel that the world has caught me up by my throat and it dictates me how I should feel, how should I behave. So if the situation is agitative, then I am agitated. If the relationship is disastrous, then my mental pattern becomes disastrous. If everything is happy around, then I am happy. Every time I am dictated by what is happening outside. Slowly the person understands I need to be independent of that thought. Come what may outside, I need to find a solution to it and move on. Okay? So you slowly become introvert. Now when we become introvert, what do? Study. I am telling you what it means by saying I am that Brahman, and understand that the more I focus on the limited aspects of life, I consider myself a finite personality, a small insignificant being in this huge cosmos. The more the thought will come that I can't do anything because I am not in control. Slowly the person should start understanding that it is not the personality, the physical body, that's what you are. You are much beyond that. You are that supreme reality. I don't know whether supreme reality is there or not. Naturally, because you have not met anybody who's reached that state. People document and say that I think I am realized, or there are dedicated students who say that my master is realized. But you have no idea, nobody has any idea who is a realized person. So from our point of view, a realized person is one whose identity with the totality is total. Some higher functioning in life. So what it means, if I stop focusing on my finite, small, paltry life and look what is happening to me, please look. I am suffering so much, I am in trouble so much, the whole life is focused only on me and me. I have seen in my own life, it breeds agitation, depression and tension. But as soon as I focus on other things in life where I am not the focal point, look at others and say, oh my God, there are so many people, there are so many situations where I can contribute in my own way. I am not talking financially, I am talking about every aspect of one's life to make the other person's life even a little better. I have seen that as soon as that focus is there to make somebody's life better, some higher goal in life, to maybe educate somebody whom I don't know, maybe to rear up, bring up a child whom I don't know, but some attitude of doing good in the society. As a rule, I have seen that a person who is basically unselfish in life, not bothered about what is happening to him or her, they are proportionately happier than those selfish ones who keep on crying. As you grow one step at a time, we have understood the dynamism, we have understood the secret, the formula of how to be happy. The more I think about myself, I am unhappy. The more I think about what can I do, what can I contribute in the society, to that proportion I am happier. I have learned this secret. This secret continues. The more I think about others, the less my ego is involved, the less is my hurt. Therefore, if every activity of mine, if every relationship of mine is performed in this way, where there is no ego, ahamkar in me saying, I am doing it, and the thought is replaced by, who am I to do anything here? It needs to be done. And it's been done by some power which is at present functioning through this embodiment, which is maintaining relationships, which is talking, which is listening. Some power is there which is functioning, and when that divine power switches off, this embodiment will also be switched off. It's a simple thinking. Once you reach that state and you start representing the higher realities of life, stop thinking about yourself, the more you are attuned to the higher, until a time comes in everyone's life where you no more live for your own selfish self, your selfish ego. You do everything even for your relationship, me and mine, doesn't matter, live with them, but the whole attitude is what is good for him, what is good for her, not what I want him or her to do. As soon as you reach that state, you have reached Brahman. That's what scriptures have written. That's what is the main thing, to get rid of the desire-ridden actions and continue performing the actions as if you, even if you don't do it, somebody else will. The action is important, not the doer, not the person. But we do everything ulta. We go to the temple and we tell everybody, I am going to the temple. We are so ignorant then not only I compare myself with other people, my children with other people, my husband and wives and parents with other people, I compare my God with other God and say my God is better than your God. Our God is better than your God. We are all together and they are all together. So we should destroy them. This is the condition of every country in the world. Sad but true. Nobody has understood scriptures. Throughout the Keno Upanishad, Upanishads are the textbooks which is known for its conciseness, its brevity. And in that Keno Upanishad, 5 verses, the sages say, Tadeva Tvam Brahma Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Continuously 5 times he says, Tadeva Brahma Tvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. That is Brahman, not what you are doing here. That is following spirituality, not what you are doing here. So doing rituals, okay, what does the rituals mean? Sir, I am going to the temple. Very good. What is the structure of the temple? What is the meaning of going with a plate full of fruits, flowers, leaf, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, says Bhagavad Gita. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? That I give camphor to the Pandit and with that camphor he lights a diya. What is the meaning of that? Each and every ritual reminds me of what my original identity is. We forget all that. Therefore, we get into everything else. What dress a person wears, what kind of hairstyle the person has. Is it like this? Is it fully bald, then he is like a Buddha? Or should he have a jatadhari, long hairs? What kind of robes he is wearing? What kind of rudraksh mala he is wearing? What kind of chandan he is putting? Which sampradaya he belongs to? Is he a South Indian or a North Indian or a East Indian or a West Indian? We are magnificently distributed and deluded. So when the Shastras say, all the Sancita, all that past karma, I don't know how many janmas, I don't know how many vasanas. One matchstick is enough to light a cave which is darkened thousands of years. Just that attitude of, I am not going to look anywhere around of what other people are doing. I am going to live a righteous life. If I have too much desires of the world, then the world holds control on me. Therefore, I'll curtail those desires and try to do good in the society in whatever way I can. At the end of it, I am going to be happier every day than what I was previous day. Self-development is tomorrow should be better than today. That's all, nothing more than that. When you take one step at a time, all that sanchit karma, thousands of years, thousands of vasanas, millions of desires, you don't even know the account. All that gets disappeared. There's this beautiful movie called Terry Fox, where this guy is running with one leg because he had cancer on the knee, one metal leg, and he starts walking. He thinks that if I run and I collect each dollar from each Canadian, we'll have around 12 to 20 million dollars. I can give this money for a charitable institution to study cancer, because so many small children, 5 years, 6 years, with capes around their, mask around their nose, and chemotherapy on their head, and they are dying, and they are saying, what do you want to be next year, next year, what birthday, what do you want? And he says, next birthday I want to do this, I want to do this. And the doctor said, next birthday he will not be alive. So Terry Fox says, let me contribute something. Even though I have cancer, let me contribute. And he runs around. He decides to run across the whole Canada. Please go and have a look at his lifestyle. 1989 or 84, I'm not sure about the date. He runs across whole Canada. He starts, and as soon as he starts with one metal leg limping and he's trying to run, one boy comes to me and says, how much you are going to run, Terry? And he says, 3,500 miles. The boy says, wow, 3,500. Can you do it? Of course, 1 mile at a time. Can we reach the state of Brahman? Of course. Where is the doubt? 1 day at a time. 1 honesty at a time. 1 truthfulness at a time. 1 person at a time. That's the way to get out of Sancita. So as soon as by firm self-knowledge, I am Brahman alone, I am that highest personality, at present that great spirit functioning through this embodiment and doing what needs to be done, all the Sancita is wiped off. Next verse. This is verse 36. Agami karma is also destroyed by knowledge, and the wise one is not affected by it, just as lotus leaf is not affected by water. Agami is also, Agami is when the results are going to come. What difference does it make? When a spiritual man is functioning, he is always functioning on the righteous side. People may understand, people may not understand. The corrupt people may throw him into prison also. It really doesn't matter, because they will not move from righteousness. They are not bothered what the results are going to come. Let it come, however it comes. Even the Agami is destroyed, and they live in the world. See, that's the beauty of it. I have to give up and go to the Himalayas. You don't have to do anything. No, don't give up. Stay in the world. Be with everybody. The only difference is Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tattva jivitam atishaya chapalam. Like a lotus leaf in the water, you are existing, says Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankaracharya. So how do you live? Like a lotus leaf. A lotus leaf lives in water. Each and every part, it exists in water, and ultimately it dissolves in water. But have you tried putting a water droplet on a leaf of the lotus? If you have tried, you'll see that the leaf is greasy and the water immediately slips down. Similarly, a spiritual person who's understood I am Brahman, even relatively it works. That person is living in the world, in the muck where the lotus is born, in the puddle where the lotus is born, in the world of seeming chaos going on, everybody being agitated for whatever reasons the agitation is. But there is nothing which touches this person. He has understood the secret of life. What is the secret of life? There are certain constituents of action. First, for anybody to act, first is called adhishthanam. Adhishthanam means ground is prepared. So imagine a farmer. To farm, to till the land, a ground is prepared. Adhishthanam, the base. Second is karta. A doer is needed to do that particular action, to till the farm. Then karanam. The equipments are needed for farming. So a bullock cart is needed, a plow is needed, seeds are needed. These are the things which are needed, equipments for doing the farming. If a city-bred person, perhaps like you and me, will go into the farming, we will have all this. We will have perhaps a land. We are there to do the activity. We have the equipments. But do you know how to do it? How to till the land? What is the process behind it? How much water to put? How much seed to put? How much fertilizer to put? What should be the gap between two saplings? A process is required. Chesta. For any activity, a process is required. After these four, adhishthanam, karta, karanam, chesta, the fifth one is really interesting one. It's called Divam. Divam is that invisible force. Listen to this, okay? Divam is that invisible force on which we have no control. So from the farmer's point of view, it can be a locust attack, it can be a famine, it can be beautiful rain or extremely heavy rain, which is not in the farmer's control. Every action has all these 5 constituents. A person who's understood scriptures, who's understood himself or herself perfectly, he understands what? He understands that in his hands the first 4 steps are there. He also understands the 5th step, Divam, is not in his hands. Anything can happen. The beauty of the Shastras is gods tell us Divam is not yours to even think about. You are not supposed to be bothered by results. Your job is to focus on the first 4. You do the first 4 properly, and the Lord says, you don't worry of the 5th, I will take care. So an intelligent person who's understood the higher realities of life, he will say, let me focus on the process, let me focus on the equipment, let me do the things properly, and I need a field to do. That's all. And I do the job and get out. Hit a salute and say bye and move on. Whatever is the result of that job, nature will take its care. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu. So he is functioning in the world with relationships with the world 24/7 like Lord Krishna, but never affected by the whole game that is going on. Therefore, you will not find a single photograph of Krishna sitting and crying like this. Why did this happen? No. He understands. Whatever comes in my life, I have no control. But what to do with what happens in my life, I have complete control. Such a person who's living each moment, one moment, Om, O and M is one moment, each moment of his life in that glory, and focuses on what needs to be done rather than what has happened. They are not bothered about that. How can that person not be happy? They are very happy. And whatever the results come, let it come. Let it come. Will the result come? Of course it will come. If that action is performed in the world will give its verdict. So in YouTube or something, Facebook like that, if you subscribe and go there and you say, okay, I subscribe, go, and there are in some of these things there are like, or I don't know what is it called, comment. So if you keep the comment button open, can we say that we will get only positive comments? So the person who is talking is not interested in the comments because he is at a high level of spirituality. But comments will be given by everybody. It will be good, it will be bad, it will be indifferent. I think he is good, I think he is bad. He doesn't know his stuff, he knows his stuff. He is very high, he is very... All sorts of comments are there. But if you are a truly spiritual person, what does those comments matter? But will the comments come? Yes, it will come. Yes, it will come. Similarly, whatever actions done by this person as Prarabdha, will the results will be there? Yes, the result will be there. So how does he deal with these results? Next verse. We'll go through the next verse, because the result dealing is shown in the next verse. Verse 37. Furthermore, those who praise, serve, worship the wise one gains the result of action done by him, and those who criticize, hate, give pain to the wise one begets the result of that action. Thus, friends beget the result of good action, enemies get the result of wrong action. So beautiful verse. See, you have to understand the spirit of this verse. When a person has understood that he or she is the supreme reality and there is no doership, when there is no doership, the doer, the ego, why should he even bother about the results? He doesn't. He doesn't. But some result comes. So how did they bifurcate? When the result comes to me, it is not mine. It's not mine. I have not done any action, therefore the result is not mine. One postman came to my house and rang a bell. I opened the door and I saw that man. And he said, "Haan, aapka naam ye hai?" I said, "Haan ji, yeah." And he just gives me that envelope. He gives me, this is the address, he gives me the envelope. He doesn't even ask anything. I look at the envelope, open the paper, it's an income tax notice. And the income tax notice is, I have got to pay a penalty of 50 lakh rupees. I look at that notice and think, how is this even tax possible? Because I hardly pay tax. I am below that bracket. How is that even possible? But I'm agitated. Oh my God, what has happened? And I sit on the chair, flop myself down and says, this is the, what do I do? How do I pay? I don't even have 50,000. What about 50 lakhs? How can I pay? And I started getting agitated and dejected, and I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened. Thank God, the lady of the house is more intelligent than the man of the house. Not in every house, but some houses, okay? So in this house it happened. So the lady came and said, what happened? Arey, don't look at this notice. We got the income tax notice. We have to pay 50 lakhs penalty. But our income is not that. That's what I'm saying. Our income is not. I don't know how the penalty has come. And I'm getting nervous. She looked from the top and she pointed at something. It's not our house. It's the house above us. Look, that person's name is written and that person's number is given. That is the time I breathed. Oh my God, such tension. And now I am happy because I don't talk to that fellow and I know that fellow is very arrogant. He puts his nose up whenever he looks at me. You are teaching Vedanta. He always does this. I am so happy to go to this house and give that envelope and say, sorry, हाँ गलती से postman मेरे घर पे आ गया था, ये आपका letter है. And I'll wait for him to open the envelope and to see what kind of expression that person has. What happened to my agitation and stress? मेरा था ही नहीं. It was not addressed to me. Similarly, a person who is spiritual by nature does the action, but he doesn't do the action as he or she has done it. The action done is, it needs to be done, therefore at present it needed to be done through this equipment, therefore it was done. Big deal if you did it, big deal if you didn't do it. The world will still go on. Thousands of Krishnas have come, avatars have come, Muhammad has come, Jesus has come, Rama has come. World is what it is, or perhaps even worse. So many people have come. They have written, they have done their job and they have gone off. Same thing. What's the big deal if I do? What's the big deal if I don't? Such a person doesn't think about the rewards. But look at the master here, how he's functioning. He's saying the rewards, whatever comes, it doesn't go to that person because he doesn't want it. It is not his address. Then where does the result go? Result goes to these two categories. Whenever a person is trying to do good in the society, in whatever way the good is defined as, there will always be these two categories. One category, looking at them and saying, wow, what a job he or she is doing. Look at that purity. Look at that essence, how honest they are. The pure souls who understand and don't paint these people black. They understand that this personality is trying to explain the infinite the supreme reality with limited language, with limited body language, limited vocal language, with limited aspects of attitude in life. It's very difficult for a limited personality to experience more, to understand the infinite. But these guys are trying. They are trying to do some justice. God bless these souls. You see the bifurcation? Those people who pray to these guys, saints, who learn from them, who listen to them, who are trying to get their life motivated by them, all the good gunas, all the good results with this Mahatma goes to them. So you get the benefit of all the good activities, good actions done by this Mahatma to all those people who are dedicated and surrendered to that feet of that Mahatma, which represents the supreme reality. And those who put this person down, those who tell them that these people only act, these people are only users, see, they don't know what else to do, no, therefore they are talking. This person's understanding of the scripture is not that much. Perhaps that person is better, because we love comparisons. Such a person who puts the effort of a simple man who's understood 10% of the Shastras being explained in a simple language so that somebody's life can be 1% better than what it was yesterday. If they put such a person down, if they laugh at him, if they laugh at his or her diction, limitation, knowledge, in whatever way it is, all the papas, all the mistakes which this spiritual person had done, which will come as punishments, as papas, will go to them. Moral of the story: don't belittle any effort where any one person, however small or meager they are trying to do to make the world a better place in their own small, limited, insignificant capacity. That's the beauty. So whoever attempts to make some contribution in life, however insignificant, never put them down. Praise them. Long time back, I saw this advertisement in Doordarshan. I don't know the product, but I loved the advertisement. This was, they showed a street in a particular city. Heavy rains were lashing everywhere. Very heavy rains. And because of that heavy rain, the street was blocked right in center by a huge tree. So a huge tree fell down and lying across the street. And it was causing a traffic jam. There were police vans standing there. There was a school bus standing there. There are peoples in different vehicles standing there. There was a boy and a girl in a motorcycle, and he was also honking away to glory. There are so many people standing, honking, and nobody is doing anything about the tree. Huge tree. From the school bus, a 7-year-old child gets down with a backpack, a thin boy, very sweet looking boy. He straight walks to that tree. He puts his bag outside by the side and he starts pushing the tree. One of the most magnificent things I have studied, more than the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, is from this example. He starts pushing at the tree. And as soon as he starts pushing on the tree, that boy and the girl sitting beside, the girl hits the boy's shoulder and says, "Look here, that child is doing something." And the boy also agrees. Both of them get down and both of them also start pushing with the boy. Then the police people get down and they start pushing. Then the other people, shopkeepers come, they start pushing, and the tree is moved and the traffic is restored. Such a beautiful example. Now my question to all of you, what made that 7-year-old child push the tree? When he came down, he put his bag and pushed the tree. Of course, in his ignorance also, he knew that the tree would not move. Number one, he knew, because he was too small, the tree would not move. He also knew that I don't know whether who comes to push the tree, whether people are coming or not. Then why was he pushing the tree? Karyam karma karoti yah saha sannyasi saha yogi cha. That person is a sannyasi, that person is a yogi. Karyam karma karoti yah. That which needs to be done is to be done. At present, this tree is blocking our path. I will try to move it. And when the child started that, it was inspiring for others to put that effort. But the child did not do that so that others can follow. Whether the other people are laughing or crying, he was not bothered. He was doing what needs to be done. So the Shastras themselves say, is those who praise such people, such souls who are trying to do something to better the society in any way they can. All their punyas, all their thought energies, all their goodness of whatever they have achieved goes to them. Suddenly things will start brightening up in their own life. Whatever the Guru has understood 100% of the Upanishads, of the development of one's intellect and the category of one's mind, at least 20% they will get, the students who are good, who have surrendered. And those who have not, those who are cavilling, those who are putting these people down, all the papas will go to them, because they will get more and more agitated and stressed. Simple, because they are not following what the teacher is saying. Since they are not following what the teacher is saying, their intellect is not developed. Since their intellect is not developed, their mind is constantly agitated. And since their mind is constantly agitated, it's a downhill process from there. Therefore, the spiritual person doing an exercise, he doesn't get the results of good and bad. It is distributed into others. In the past, whatever is good. So this is a blessing given by the great Shastra itself of those who are surrendered and following the scriptures, what happens to them, what happens to their life. And those who are not surrendered and surrendered to the worldly values, what happens to them. We move on to the next verse. Thus, this is the last verse, by the way, verse 38. Thus the knower of self, having crossed the ocean of sorrow, samsara, even here attains supreme bliss, says the Shruti. Shruti is that which is heard, the scriptures, it just represents the scriptures. And scripture says what? That person, the knower of the self, has crossed the ocean of sorrow, samsara. Because people go through the world and they are so stressed up. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. You do it. Everybody's life is a challenge. Show me one person's life whose life is not a challenge. Everybody's life is a challenge. Everybody's got some mountain to scale, to climb. Every obstacle is there and people need to get over it. So what is the difference between a person who's understood the self, understood the scriptures, understood the teacher, and what is the difference of others? Others feel the world is a chaotic state of affairs. The world is bad. Everybody is this, everything is there. They can't see anything positive in it. But for a person who's understood it, they understand this world is what it is. It's a beautiful experience. Beautiful experience. Everything happening has some divine pleasure, some divine experience binding to it. Such a beautiful thing. It's only that when I wear the specs of likes and dislikes and hatred and irritability, I look at all relationships, everybody feels as if they are going to hunt me down. But when I remove these glasses, I have what we call the Jnana Chakshu, the eye of knowledge. These are the two biological eyes which we see the world. But you have the third eye, eye of Shiva, which destroys ignorance, which destroys agitation, its knowledge. When that third eye is opened, the eye of knowledge, you see the world as it is. It's beautiful. Each and every person is its own place. It's a heterogeneous variety of beings. There is no uniformity everywhere. Everybody's thumbprint is different. Everybody's DNA is different. Such a pleasure that so much heterogeneous variety of beings is there. And you wholeheartedly go into the world to experience each and every one. Learn, and there is no enmity there. There is no anger against anybody. The focus, the center of your life is only love. The centered aspect of your life is love. Therefore, you see only love everywhere. You see only goodness everywhere. You see only humor everywhere. But if your life is centered on hatred, centered on arrogance, centered on jealousy, then you will feel everybody is there in life to get you. Shrutis have said this. People, when book was not invented and people were just teaching each other, the Guru Shishya Parampara, they have said this. The knower of self, having crossed the ocean of this sorrow, even here, not after death, even here, a Jivan Mukta attains supreme bliss. In this world itself, he or she is constantly happy. You throw anything at them, they are perfectly alright. They'll shrug the shoulders like the income tax receipt. They'll say, this is not mine, and move on. Somebody was going with a great man in everywhere saying, Bhavati Bhikshandehi, Bhavati Bhikshandehi, eating Bhiksha. So this wise person had a student by the side. So one man came and he said, wait, I've got some food for you. And he gets the food. And while giving the food, he's saying, you people don't have any other work. You want everything for free. Bhiksha de Bhiksha. Why can't you work? Why can't you have a vegetable stall or sell some milk? Do some work, no? You don't want to do any work. Just sit and pray and beg. And gave the food. As soon as the person came out, he took the thank you, he went out, and the wise person threw the food away. Because any food, anything for that matter, given with this kind of an attitude should not be accepted. Because the negative energies are there in those gifts, those items. So throw it away. The student got so angry. He was looking at that wise person and said, Master, I got so angry, what to tell you? So the master looked at him and says, for what? What happened? That person was insulting you so much and you just kept quiet. I would have given it. Tomorrow I am going to go and give it back to him. How dare he say that to my teacher? The teacher smiled, looked at this student and said, Beta, what he gave, I didn't like. So I didn't take. Since I didn't take, I have nothing to give. But what he gave, you took. Since you took, you are the one who's suffering. You decide what to do. They are living in this world, yet they don't take anything. says the Shruti. May then this body be given up in Kashi or in a dog eater's home, a Chandala, it doesn't matter. The knower of self is free from the result of his actions. He is liberated, says the Smriti too. Then whatever after the state of self-realization, after he or she has understood what life is, then whatever happens to the body, let it happen. Oh, I am throwing a party. Why are you throwing a party? Because after death you have to throw a party. So I am throwing the party before death. People are selecting coffins for their own self, objective people, and in the coffin they want a fan. Because after death they should not feel the heat. What kind of craziness is there? When you have reached that highest, when you have understood that energy, the supreme energy that is functioning through this physical body at present, that energy will decide what is to be done next year. It will try to dump this body. The body is dumped, what difference does it make? It was just a physical body. It need to go someday, whether I like it or not. When it was born was not in my control. Its growth is not in my control. Its maturity is not in my control. Hair going white or black is not in my control. Nails are growing is not in my control. Disease is not in my control. Aches and pains are not in my control. Decay is not in my control. Ear goes off, nose goes off, I can't talk anymore, teeth goes off, it's not in my control. Death is not in my control. So why the heaven am I bothered so much about taking care of the body to the level of obsessiveness? Yes, you should take care of the body, maintain the body, because it's a beautiful vehicle through which this life principle is functioning. So make it an optimum utility value. Yes, do that. But 24/7, this is the breakfast you should eat, this is the juice you should eat, this is the drink you should eat, this is the lunch you should eat, this is the snacks you should eat. This is whole life is focusing only on what I should eat and not eat. That's what religion has come to. People are fighting what I'm supposed to eat and not eat. Amazing. What is more important? The quality of life a person chooses, or what kind of a food the person eats? Somebody went and told Ramatirtha that great man Vivekananda, he speaks very beautifully of Vedanta, but he eats everything, and I've heard he smokes also. I've heard he smokes. Ramatirtha says, when you meet a spiritual person, don't look what goes inside him. Look what comes out of him. What he eats, or how is that connected to spirituality? What he drinks, what has that got to do with anything? Look at what that contribution of that man is. Get inspired by that. Live a life like that. When you live a life like that, says the Smriti, it doesn't matter what happens to the body, you will be taken care of. Dhritarashtra had 100 children, not a single person was alive when Dhritarashtra and Gandhari became old. It doesn't matter how many children you have, you should have children so that they can take care of you. Not necessary. You are not taken care of by your children or relatives or assets, nothing. You are taken care of only by your karma. And if your karmas are good, charitably disposed, I am telling you, you need not be married, you need not have children, the whole world will come and take care of you. And if you are selfish, if you are agitated, if you are thinking only of yourself, me and mine, you may have 100 children like Dhritarashtra, not one will be there to take care. So says the Smritis, so says the book. That's where intelligent people focus on their evolution and what can they be doing. in the society, their contribution, and topmost at the list is always remain happy. Thus, the Prakarana Tattva-Bodhah ends. Thus, the content of Tattva-Bodhah, the introductory book to the Vedanta Shastra, ends. We'll end the lecture, the whole series ends today. I am deliberately giving a 1 month break for everybody to run through the scriptures. There are 39 verses, so every day, even if you focus 1, 1, 2, 2, you will cover it. Have a revision of that. We'll meet after 1 month, but I promise you, not going to be another scriptural Sanskrit text of anybody. It's going to be educated, simple life of how simple people can enjoy this beautiful world and how to live in a very systematic, planned process. Gradual study of the scriptures, not any text, but topic wise will take, lecture wise, until it gives you the guidance to reach the highest philosophy known to mankind in very simple form. Till we meet again. Thank you. Hari Om.